So it's working with everybody, but why not them? Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Career Union. Today I want to talk about manifesting a dream life with your specific person, Marisol, true love. You guys know I say this in all my videos, but the reason why I repeat it is number one, repetition is key with manifesting anything because as the human part of you, we tend to kind of go into amnesia and forget who we are sometimes multiple times throughout the day. And your job and the most important job is to cultivate trust in yourself and to just have some tools set up in advance to energetically pull yourself out of the illusion of separation. Our entire life, the physical 3D reality, is just the solidified matter based off of dominant previous beliefs that you weren't unconscious of because we were all programmed from when we were growing up. But that's not a big deal because you can simply uninstall those programs and reinstall the new program of who you are now, stepping into your power, stepping into your faith. But it's very important to get super clear of what does your dream life look like? How do you love yourself? How do you love your person? How does your person love themselves and love you? What does the relationship look like? And get super ridiculously clear about that. Now, in your kingdom of heaven, there is the relationship that you have within yourself. There's the trust that you have in yourself. There is the appreciation and value that you have within yourself and who you are, who you've become. You're proud of yourself. There is also how you perceive others to treat you in your reality, all different types of relationships, different types of experiences, the money that you get to make, how people at work or in your own business treat you, what are clients like with you, what kinds of clients do you have in your life, okay, and really seeing the best in yourself and everyone, seeing money, large sums of money come to you from known and unknown sources. Multiple streams of income is always a really powerful way to go because then, you have all of these different streams coming to you and all of those streams add up to be, a really good amount of money. But if you want to make 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, $100,000 a month, who says you can't do that? There are other people who manifest that kind of money, right? So can you. And then you have the relationship. What does it look like when you guys wake up in the morning together? How do you treat each other? You guys cuddle and kiss and giggle together. You guys drink coffee together. You have your dream home. How many rooms are there in your dream home? What does the kitchen look like? What do the bathrooms look like? What does your yard look like? What are your cars? You know what I mean? Like get super clear. So that is your kingdom of heaven. And you are a guard of your kingdom of heaven. But to become a guard, you may need some training. You may need a little bit of training to understand what to allow and not to allow to come in. And in your 3D reality in your life, there will still be old assumptions and old beliefs around all different areas in your life playing out. The biggest key is because this comes up obviously with subscribers, viewers, clients, and stuff. The biggest key is no matter what happens in your reality, whether it's around your health, whether it's around your finances, security, or whether it's with you and your specific person, if it comes up and it seems like this is falling apart, this is crumbling, why is this happening to me? Nothing seems to be working. I hired this person and they pretty much screwed me over, or they were super irresponsible. They didn't do a good job. Or, I got a bad health report with my doctor, or the medical system sucks. Or my specific person, we were talking and now they're ignoring me again, like bits and pieces of all different things that everybody goes through. The biggest key is that, okay, it doesn't feel good when these things happen in the 3D, but at the same token, that's not what's in your kingdom of heaven. So you see what comes up. You don't allow this thing to come up to dictate to you whether you are an empowered creator, the operant power of your reality. You don't allow these things to dictate to you whether you can have or not have whatever it is that you're manifesting. So they just come up and you deal with it. You don't look at it and say, what the, you know what? I must not be doing something right because look at what's happening. I affirmed for the exact opposite, and yet this still happened. And I know that this right now is that pinch point that a lot of people fall for, but I want to give you a 3D example of when I was manifesting my interior design business. A lot of you guys, since you're new here, let me just say this really quickly. I guess before I say this, if you love me and you love my content, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I really do love and appreciate you for that. If you want me to help you manifest anything at all in your reality, whether it's related to health, money, security, opportunities, a business, anything with your specific person, your mirror soul, just email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to the website, coreunion.com, book whatever you want. My scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you. Okay, so when something shows itself in the 3D, a lot of you guys immediately go into, see, look at my luck. I have the worst luck. You see, this is just proof. I never get what I want. You see, nothing that I'm doing is working because this happened. What am I doing wrong? I must be doing something wrong. No. When you are stepping into your power and you know what's in your kingdom of heaven because you took the time to get ridiculously clear about that, then training yourself to be the guard is really what you want to focus on. So to be the guard, you need to be trusting in yourself. You need to be trusting in your inner knowing, trusting in your heart and soul, trusting that what you are doing is working despite what happens in the 3D. You need to cultivate a relationship with the inner being within you that's handling everything. God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, divine intelligence, whatever you want to label that, that doesn't matter. But you need to cultivate trust in yourself and in that, and knowing that you were created to create on behalf of the creator that created everything in our entire, you know, this whole simulation, trillions of galaxies. The you that you're playing is the character, the personality, the human ego, the flesh. That's the character. But you're creating the character every single morning when you wake up and you're clear of your kingdom heaven. So now you're guarding that. So something comes up in your 3D and it goes against something that's in your kingdom of heaven. Sometimes it might be super ridiculously and painful. But instead of victimizing yourself and saying, you know, here's more proof, I have the worst luck, nothing I'm doing is working, I must not be good at this, nothing, just see it as, do I want this? Yes or no? What is the emotion that it brought up? Handle the emotion just by giving yourself love, surrender and detach, hand it over to God, universe, source, because in that moment when you are triggered and you're in fear, you are in your lower self. So it's okay to surrender as if God, universe, source is outside of you. Give thanks for handling everything. This is, again, this is a relationship you're cultivating. And then release and let that go. You might need to do a little forgiving here. And then let whatever came up, whether it was through another person or not, let it show you exactly what you do want. So release and let go of what happened, then let it show you what do you want. So after you've gone through this process where you have given yourself love, you didn't just reject the emotions that it brought up, but you also don't stay in that. It's like do everything in moderation. Don't get too far into shadow work. Don't get too far into needing to heal. Just get super clear. So to use the example I wanted to use when I was manifesting my interior design business, which was simply, it was literally an experiment to prove that manifesting was real. So I used my entire life. I just kind of threw in I took away all of the safety nets. I quit my job, which was an amazing job. I loved it. I was making really good money. It was actually in technology, but I knew what I wanted deep down in my heart and soul. So I went deep within that, right? So now I'm creating this. And of course, there are things that are coming up that are going against everything that I wanted with the business. But no matter what came up, I didn't fold. I would just handle it. And then I would see what it was that I want. So now fast forward to the point where I was now manifesting $100,000, if not more, every month consistently. Let's say, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say that I woke up in the morning and I made a decision that sometimes I would say I want 100,000 by the end of the month. Sometimes I would say a 25,000 by Friday, by Saturday, by Sunday. Sometimes I would just say that I had a $25,000 day because I did get to the point where a single client would come in out of nowhere off the street, walk into my store, fall in love with everything that I sold, fall in love with me immediately, as not as in a sexual romantic way, and choose me because I was choosing myself. And they chose, and they would say things like, I don't know what it is about this place, about you, but I want to redesign my entire home. I wasn't even planning on buying furniture today. Those kinds of things were the kinds of, beautiful, dream-like, wonderful manifestations that I would have. But there were some days when I would do my inner work, which, of course, if you want to know specifically what to do, book a session. But I would do my inner work. I would live from the end of the experience of living in my beautiful dream home, driving my dream car, having the experiences that I want, being the area's top interior designer, even though I didn't have one day of school, one day of retail experience, nothing. And I became the area expert, not out of this ego thing, just because I allowed myself to surrender to what was in my heart and soul, right? Because this is how the unfolding happened in my life to become the coach and the teacher, because I wanted to be a coach and a teacher, but the interior design business was the experiment to prove so I could say that I actually walk the walk and talk the talk. So I'm not just somebody who's just like reading a book and just parroting information to you guys. Okay. So if I wake up in the morning and I decided I want X amount today, and then I go into work and it's crickets, nobody comes in. A lot of you guys would say, it didn't work, Kim. Nothing I'm doing is working. But when you're a powerful, empowered, knowing your power creator in your reality, it doesn't phase you. I would go into work. I would have, I knew at the end of the day, let's just say, for example, that I was going to do $20,000 that day. Nothing happened. So somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, I would start imagining the end of the day that I batched out. It was $20,000. I would start to like give thanks for it. I would imagine walking out, feeling the air on my face, seeing the water. I would imagine going into my car, driving home, kicking up my feet at night, eating a delicious dinner. Maybe I went out to eat, who knows, whatever. And then I would just feel the security and the safety of having that money. So then the end of the day physically happens in the 3D and it was still crickets. Maybe there was no sales. And maybe this happens the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. I don't stop to say, what the heck am I doing wrong? I just stay living from the end that I'm making this money. So I wake up the next morning. I'm thankful that yesterday I made $10,000. Today I'm going to make another $10,000 as an example. And if it repeats, it doesn't matter. I stay living from the end that I made the money. And then before you know it, maybe that next Saturday, suddenly, one or five clients come in and it adds up to be the money that I wanted, if not more. But I didn't allow myself to be a victim. I just allowed myself to actually use the 3D to make a new, like to stay in my kingdom of heaven, not to allow. And so that is being a guard of your kingdom of heaven, not to allow yourself to become a victim. Oh, I just have bad luck. Oh, I suck at this. This isn't working. They're still not calling me. This isn't working. Everyone but them are calling me. All of these other men or women are wanting to date me, wanting to take me out. They're giving me attention. So it's working with everybody, but why not them? That's the stuff that you just need to stop doing. Instead, you just make a decision early in the morning. Who am I? So go in, do your inner work, start from God state, and then down into being the operant power, love for yourself. In advance, you had gotten clear of all the things that you wanted. Again, that's your kingdom of heaven. And you do your inner work. And then when you're done, you're like giving thanks because you know that it's not you that actually is making it happen. You surrender and detach. Thank you for everything. I know that you're handling everything and I know that this is done. You live your life. You are walking, talking, breathing, carrying yourself in the energy of embodying what it is that you want in all areas of your life. Maintain a healthy mental diet every hour to 2 hours. Give the same amount of energy to, say, for example, with you and your specific person, if you guys are married and living together, then you would be seeing each other when you wake up, right? You would have breakfast together, most likely. While you're getting ready, you probably also would kind of maybe give each other kisses, and maybe you say, okay, baby, have a good day. You go off and do your thing, whatever you do for work. They do their thing, right? Somewhere, if you were living together, somewhere in the middle of the day, there would be On some days, there would be more check-ins than others because sometimes people get busy. No big deal, right? So every hour to 2 hours, you just maybe you think back to how the morning was. Maybe you think, and maybe you look at your phone and you see that they just texted you a quick little heart. Maybe then somewhere after lunch, you guys are starting to, maybe you send little emojis to each other, maybe little gifts. Maybe you send a funny video. Maybe they send a funny video. Then there's some sort of conversation of, babe, what do you want to do after work? What do you want for dinner? Are we going to cook? Are we going to go to eat? Like, in other words, just every hour to 2 hours, just give it like 20 to 30 seconds. That's all you need to do to carry yourself in the energy. But then you don't make the mistake of, why isn't it happening? I'm still not seeing anything, because it's that is that's what keeps pulling you back out of your kingdom of heaven. So be the guard. So then you've pretty much maintained that energy of embodying, being, having whatever it is that you want all day. And then before you go to sleep, you do a little revision of things that maybe didn't work out in your favor with something. So maybe one of these little things that comes up that you didn't like what happened, and just use it as a signpost to direct you to what is it that you would have liked to experience. Use the person, like, say, for example, again, like using the example, if a client or a person or your specific person, mother, father, friend, neighbor, somebody says something that goes against what's in your kingdom of heaven, what emotion did it bring up? Just do a little revision of it. Give yourself love, do a little ho'oponopono to let it go, and then shift back into your end. You can do a little revision if you want to. You could just, if it's not related to your specific person, let's say that it's related to a client, a customer, or your boss or something. Something comes up, you recognize this is just a reflection of my old self-concept. So I can let this go now. I can safely let this go. I can allow myself to be the version of me who's valued, respected, appreciated. If you want to see your boss differently, do a little ho'oponopono, and then do an imaginary scene to either revise what happened, or another form of revision could be that you allow what happened to happen, but then you imagine that because that happened, they actually approach you and they apologize, and they are a different version of themselves. They are now showing you, it's really that really I shouldn't have communicated that to you in that way, but I really appreciate you and value. And you know what? You deserve a promotion because you have been an incredible employee, and I should recognize your efforts more, as an example. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about today, is being super, super diligent and focused on knowing that your end exists, embodying being that, and becoming a guard of your kingdom of heaven. What a lot of you guys do, and I know that you're not intending to do this, I know that you want to manifest everything that you want. It's not your fault, but you're constantly seeking evidence. Once you find something that resonates with you, for example, and you do whatever that is, and you're feeling into your end state, and then you you go out and you do whatever, maybe you reach out to your specific person when you were technically still in a place where you weren't 100% in trust of yourself and in them and in the relationship, as an example. So you were technically nervous, but you prepped yourself by meditating and stuff, and then you feel good, so you send the message right away, and they don't reply, or they don't reply quickly, or they don't reply saying what you want, and you immediately victimize yourself and you say, this isn't working. If you do choose to reach out to your person, which you totally can, reach out knowing that they love you, knowing that they love hearing from you, that it lights them up inside. And then immediately, not waiting now in the 3D watching for it, immediately go into your end again of being together, being the husband, being the wife, the partner, having a sacred, loving relationship that's happy, ongoing communication. What you guys tend to do is you dip into the 3D and then you stay there, and then you question it, you stay in that mode. Okay, just don't do that. If you are nervous and scared that if you reach out to your person, they're going to somehow reject you, you don't reach out. That's just don't. Okay. But don't get into your head about, then how is this going to happen? How is this going to work? If you don't trust that your end exists, then you have to focus on learning how to trust yourself and trust the process and trust God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, divine intelligence that created you to create on behalf of it and planted the seeds of desire in your core, which is the only reason you want them. The desire itself is the promise of the wish fulfilled. Okay. So you have to learn how to trust. God already trusts you. God already created you to create for God. And God is just like, would you please hand it over to me? Give it to me when you're confused and scared, because I'm the one who actually created this. I'm the one. You're simply guiding yourself. You're learning how to trust yourself, love yourself, and then trust me. So trust me, hand it over, because the doing part, the how and the when is not your job. And when you do that, then I'm just going to step back and say, then you handle it yourself. And then you feel like you're out on a limb. Okay. Anyway, I'm all charged up today. I love you so much. Please do affirm down below. I am going to trust that I'm the operant power of my reality and that my kingdom of heaven exists. And reach out to me if you need me. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.